Welcome to GabTalks, where we provide tools, tips, and techniques to help your life and business be easier, better, and faster. Hello, hello. How are you? I'm Gabriella. Welcome to our next episode of GabTalks Success Tips from Experts. Today, I am bringing to you somebody who has an incredible brain for helping entrepreneurs just like you. Oh my gosh, welcome to the show, Lee Hodgkins.
Hi, Gab. How are you?
I'm doing fantastic. I'm so excited to have you here today. Let's go ahead and jump in. I love helping people level up, and it's exactly what you do. So tell us all about your expertise.
So, I've worked all over the world helping companies expand and grow their operations, basically.
So, Lee, organizational design. I don't know
Yes.
that everybody really knows what that means. Can you talk about that for a moment?
Yeah, sure. So, I've worked with Fortune 500 companies. I've worked with Canadian top employer companies, basically to help them grow their operations. So, I have a number of experiences where I've worked with organizations as they expanded. They grew their footprint, they grew their size, either revenue wise or staff wise or production footprint wise, all kinds of different ways to grow, basically.
That's awesome. That's incredible. And I said to you before we started recording, I love your tagline. Talk to us about that.
Yeah, so it's just my mission is really to help successful entrepreneurs become even more successful CEOs. So I'm all about the CEO mindset and being able to make the transition from an entrepreneur into that organization that is now bigger than they ever could have imagined at one time.
Well, I think one of the things you probably work with your clients on, and I got really lucky that I had someone teach me this concept fairly early. When I started, 1% of my business could run without me. And when I got to the point of having someone take over my entire book, it was 60 to 70% of my business could run without me. And
Yeah.
that's something as a solopreneur we don't think about is the more your business can run without you, the more you can actually grow.
Yeah, that's the thing. And the flip side of that is as your business starts to run without you, you have to be able to adapt your role inside that organization, inside that business, in order to make sure that you allow the business to continue to run without you.
Exactly. And that pivotal tipping point of growth, it's one of those things that I think keeps a lot of people in that solopreneur or smallpreneur space.
Yes, exactly.
Let's talk about your background and your history that got you to where you are today.
I started out, actually, I went to university in the States, even though I'm Canadian. I actually went to university in Iowa and I took philosophy. And I realized very quickly after I graduated that, well, that wasn't going to pay the bills. So I started my own business. I went through several iterations of businesses, small business ownership, and eventually I kind of developed this expertise and this reputation for being able to work with businesses that are growing and that are expanding. I went and worked in the Middle East around the period of 9/11, actually. So a lot of my family were on the phones to me saying, when are you coming home? Are you crazy? What are you doing there? And I just said, look, I'm fine. I was on a big petrochemical expansion project, $1.3 billion expansion. And it just really sort of solidified for me what I knew I was good at. And that was helping businesses scale and grow.
So I have to say, I think philosophy is a really interesting degree for what you do because the reality that a lot of people don't think about is philosophy and sociology have a key role in influencing how we do business. Do you want to talk
Absolutely.
about that for a second?
I learn a lot about how people think and about what motivates people, what drives people. And I can honestly say that the more things change in business or in location or, demographics or whatever it happens to be, the more they stay the same. As a small business owner, we're in the thick of it. We're trying to survive just like everybody else is.
Yeah.
And being able to understand our mindset around that need to not only survive but thrive in business as well as personally and professionally, that's been one of my life's main sort of focuses, especially in business.
Yeah, and I feel like one of the things that happens when people are going through expansion is what they think they're entitled to versus their expectation of other people often winds up having a mismatch, and people forget that the people that are working for them want many of the same things that they themselves want. And when we treat people with that idea of realizing what they want, they will give to us so much more. Yeah.
100%. I saw Gary V online, as many people do these days, and
Right.
love him or hate him, you have to respect him for his viewpoint. He corrected somebody in the audience one time during an FAQ where the guy said, "Look, I can't get my employees to do what I want them to do," and Gary V stopped him right away and said, "Look, your employees are doing a job. They're doing a job for you. So you cannot expect them to have the same level of motivation, the same level of loyalty, the same level of commitment that you do. It's just not possible." So it's really about understanding where people are coming from.
So before we started recording, we always talk about our influences, always fascinated. And you just mentioned one of them. And before we started talking, you also mentioned one of my favorites. Will you talk about where your influences came from?
Well, I guess maybe it's my philosophy background. I don't know, but I've always been attracted or drawn to people who understand and live the values of modern leadership. There are very few people out there that do that these days, but some of the most prominent ones are my personal points of inspiration. And that would include people like Simon Sinek. If you've watched his lectures online, he's just phenomenal. Like, he gets what motivates people, and not only that, but he understands what kind of leadership motivates people and what kind of leadership really works in the modern era. Another one that I like is Stephen Covey, of course. His book, The 7 Habits of Highly Successful People, is a classic.
Yeah, I too love Simon Sinek. He's one of my favorites. I love
Yeah.
how he shows up.
Yeah,
Yeah.
very progressive, very focused on the values behind business and
Yeah.
leadership.
Hello, hello, awesome listener. Thank you so much for joining us today at GabTalks Success Tips from Experts. We're going to take a short break and say thank you to our sponsors. It is through the generous support of these sponsors that we are able to bring to you these amazing experts that are sharing their best tips for your success. So please listen to what our sponsors have to say, and hopefully they're going to inspire you that you're going to click their links and go support them.
This is Tony Stark Polici, copywriter, marketing consultant, and author. And I have a question for you. If you could take $20 and turn it into 1,000 or 5,000 or 10,000 or 100,000, would you do it? Well, you can. And it's not through gambling. It's not investing in the stock market. It's by buying this book. That's right, my book. This was voted number 9 out of the top 100 best copywriting books ever written, and I wrote it for you, for business owners, to help you write better emails, better sales copy, better advertisement, to communicate better in all of your marketing and business communications. This book will change your business and your life. Try it. You're going to love it.
Global Prosperity Academy, GPA, is a community of like-minded individuals that are heart-centered and mission-driven, focusing on high-level communication training, leadership development, and strategic community building. Take a look at the video in the link below and see how GPA is right for you.
I want to know if you
Yeah.
were to go back and talk to that kid that went to college in Iowa and
Yeah.
say, I'm going to give you one piece of advice that could really impact what you do for the rest of your life. What would that be?
Be open and be flexible. Life is going to throw all kinds of curveballs at you. It's going to, beat you down maybe, or you're going to feel beaten down by it. Things will happen that you just could never have foreseen. And the more open you are with how you approach each and every moment of your life, the more flexible you are, the more likely you are to not only overcome whatever life is giving you or take advantage of whatever life is giving you, but the more likely you are to be happy in doing it. We all seek happiness, and it's something that it may or may not be achievable, but you can certainly be content. You can certainly experience joy. And so, I really try to get entrepreneurs to focus on what they started out doing their businesses for in the first place. If it wasn't for joy, if it wasn't for a sense of fulfillment or contentment, then why the heck are they doing it?
I love that you use the word contentment, because I think that we have this idea that we're always trying to reach for something that's not quite there, but contentment is actually very, very achievable. Let's talk about
Yeah.
that for a moment.
I like to think of contentment as sort of it's like the narrative around, are you focused on the end result, or are you focused on the journey that's getting you there? Right. And to me, contentment is about taking your mind off the end result and focusing on the journey.
Yeah, I totally agree with you on that. Well, let's go right on into talking about ways that people can grow and achieve some more success. I know you've got some fabulous tips to share with us that people can take action on right now.
The first one is mindset. We talk a lot these days about mindset.
Yep.
For me, the mindset is all about how are you making the shift from being that solopreneur to being that CEO who's in charge of a going concern, who's really got employees to take care of, got operations to take care of, it's got a business to take care of. Beyond that, it's very practical. So number one, what's your strategy? Are you focusing on your market correctly? And most successful entrepreneurs have already got that cracked. But the question is, how do you maintain that, and how do you continue to grow within the strategy that you've already set for your business? Number two, what are your goals for the next 1 and 3 years? So a 1 and a 3-year goal plan, very practical, very important. Is it supportive of your strategy? Number four, being able to say, okay, what are your business processes? Have you got them clear? Have you got them mapped out? Do you know what your core business processes are and the most efficient they can be at the time? Number five, it's being able to, again, use your human resources in an effective way. That means learning how to hire. One of the things that we have to watch out for is how we hire. And there's something called confirmation bias. And that simply means you try to hire people naturally that you resonate toward. And what I often have to tell owners is that's not the best way to hire. You don't want to hire people that are like you.
I used to tell my staff in my old company when we were doing interviews, we don't hire me, because
Yes.
I had such a big personality. And when you're sitting there doing minutia detail for a client, they're not interested in the big personality. They're interested in the detail.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
That's exactly right. That's one of the best ways to hire. The
Well,
final thing I get people to do is I get them to learn and adopt project management methodology. So if you understand how to use your resources effectively inside your business, you're much more likely to be successful. So project management means managing labor, money, and time. If you don't manage those three things correctly as your business grows, then you're not only going to bleed a lot of money, labor, and time, but you're also going to maybe fail. And that's what we don't want.
well, the other thing that happens a lot, and a lot of times it's with the people side of it. We've all heard the analogy of a three-legged stool. If you only have two legs in a three-legged stool, it won't balance.
That's the truth.
And then the stool will fall over. That sounds very much like what you're describing. Very
Exactly. Yeah.
philosophical.
It's very practical too.
But again, there's a lot of philosophy in practicality. You have to understand the philosophy behind these things so that the practicality actually works.
Absolutely. Yeah. I like to think so anyway.
On each episode of GabTalks Success Tips from Experts, we like to highlight a hero sponsor who is a business that chooses to highlight a do-good organization in their own community that is bettering the world. Today's hero sponsor is...
Hello, I'm Deborah Thorne, the Information Diva, author, coach, trainer, speaker, and the proud host of the Leverage Conference for speakers, authors, and entrepreneurs. Today, it is my pleasure to highlight one of my favorite nonprofit organizations, Demo Chicks. Demo Chicks empowers, elevates, and enlightens girls and young women in the non-traditional fields of architecture, construction, and engineering. For more information about Demo Chicks, please use the link below. Thank you for your support.
So Lee, oh my
Yes.
gosh, this was such an amazing conversation. And I think that tons of people out there could use a little bit of guidance and a conversation with you. I know
Yeah.
that, like I said, I wish I'd had you to talk to when I was about halfway into my business. And I think tons and tons of people need to reach out to you. Where do they find you?
Yeah, they can find me at my website. So gorillacoaching.ca. It's not .com, it's .ca. And it's gorilla with a GUERRILLA. Gorilla coaching, one word, .ca.
Awesome. So I think people need to go click the link. It'll be
Yes.
down below in the show notes and in the description and find out more about how they can work with you and
Yep.
get you to guide them. Are you also available on social media?
I am, yes. So I've got Instagram, Gorilla Coaching, at Gorilla Coaching, and also on Facebook, Gorilla Coaching as well. And I'm on LinkedIn as Lee Hodgins.
Awesome. And you have a really cool offer that everyone's going to want to take advantage of. And the link will be down below to get the
Yeah.
offer. Share that with us.
Yeah, so if you go to my website, you can click on one of the chat with me buttons, and I will give you a free 1 hour strategy session just for you. We'll focus in on what you think you need, where you're at with the growth of your business, and I will give you at least a couple of action items that you can take away and add value to your business right away.
I'm going to tell you guys, having talked to Lee, having been in the industry where people delegate work out to you and knowing the kind of things that he teaches, getting action items that you can take advantage of from a complimentary call is so completely worth it in leveling up. So go
Yeah.
click that link. Make sure you have that conversation. It will blow your mind. It will be worth every single minute times 10. Make sure you click the subscribe button. Don't forget to select the reminders so that you know when our next episode airs. Thank you so much for letting me talk to you today and sharing you with our audience.
Thank you. Much appreciated, Gab.
Hey, thanks so much for watching. We hope you got value today. We want to give a huge shout out of gratitude to our contributors. Please make sure you click the subscribe button below and don't forget to click the bell up above to get reminders when we add new content.